Hi, it's day number 55 in our Route 66 journey through the Bible. 55 days behind. Well, actually, today is the 55th day, so we've got a couple of chapters in Numbers. Numbers chapter 29 and 30. Let's get your Bible out. Let's go ahead and get to it and see what we find. They're preparing to go into the Promised Land eventually, and so there's a lot of reminders in here of things that Moses has already told them in the past. In Numbers chapter 21, God gives some instructions for some of the special festivities and the sacrifices that they were supposed to do. These included what was called the Feast of Trumpets, the Day of Atonement, a Feast of Tabernacles. These were celebrations that were to help Israel, the people of God, to remember God's blessings and stay faithful to Him. The same way that we have holidays to remind us of special events in our history, to remind us of things that we're supposed to do. If we didn't have those, if we didn't have Mother's Day, didn't have Father's Day, didn't have birthdays, didn't have Christmas, didn't have Easter, didn't have 4th of July, we may go through several years without remembering important events and reflecting. And so God put those festivities, those holidays, holy days within their calendar, and that Numbers 29 reminds them of those. Numbers chapter 30, God gives some laws about keeping promises, keeping vows. If you make a promise, if you say you're going to do something, you got to do it. He teaches that if a man makes a vow, he's got to keep it. If a young woman makes a vow, her father can cancel it, but if he agrees to it, she's got to keep that law. She's got to keep that vow. If a married woman makes a vow, her husband can confirm or cancel it. The number 30 reminds us and helps us know the emphasis and the importance and the responsibility of honoring your commitments. What you say is so important. So some lessons that we can learn. Number 1, worship and remembrance are important. It is important to remember. Don't let these festivities go by without remembering God. And I think that's why God gives us a weekly reminder, Sunday, to stop and reflect on God. We need that. Keep your promises. That's that Numbers chapter 30. Keep your promises. God expects us to take our vows and our commitments seriously. So if you've made some promises, either keep that promise, which I think that's the number 1, or have a conversation with somebody about why you can't keep that promise. Number 3, God values order and leadership. The rules about vows show how authority works within a family. And the father was responsible. He had the authority, but he had the responsibility. And so he could, kind of make some decisions there. And God values order and responsibility. And we need to see that within the family, within the church structure, within government. We're in one sense, we are all equal, but in another sense, God chooses people to be leaders, people to be in authority to help us. And that's great. A 4th lesson is obedience always brings blessing. Following God's commands would help Israel stay in favor with Him and receive His blessings. When we obey God, He blesses us. When we disobey God, we get in trouble. So obey God.